James, honey, did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful. Remember that time in the hotel?
Silent Hill 2 is an amazing game with its characters, story, atmosphere, meanings, and the psychological horror behind it. However, what struck a chord with me the most was the whole forgiveness part of it, as in the in water ending for the Silent Hill 2 remake, we see James unable to forgive himself for what he did to his wife Mary. Spoiler alert, he fucking murdered her. And because of this guilt and trauma he has, the town of Silent Hill uses that against him and manifests the monsters we see in the game. Each monster has their own meaning and story behind it, but the one I like to talk about is no other than the Pyramid Head. In short, Pyramid Head, for those who don't know, is the judge, the jury, and the executioner, the embodiment of guilt and the want for punishment. It is not there to kill James, but rather punish him for what he has done. And no matter how much James tries to run and or tries to fight it, it does not go away until he learns what it is and learns to overcome his guilt. You may be wondering what this has to do with forgiveness. Well, we talked about Pyramid Head being there to punish James and how Pyramid Head is the embodiment of guilt. And because of that guilt and him not being able to forgive himself and overcome that guilt, Pyramid Head has a reason to exist. And once he does overcome that guilt, Pyramid Head kills itself, and depending on how you played it, James either forgives himself and or doesn't. If he does, we get the leave ending where we see James walk away from Silent Hill with Laura and leave alive and changed. However, in the bad ending, the in water ending, we see James in his car talking to himself and possibly the body of Mary, saying how he just can't forgive himself for what he has done and cannot go on without her, and knowing what he has done. So he starts the engine and drives into the lake to kill himself. It's a really sad ending, and we see what not forgiving himself has done to him and what led him to take his own life. Depending on your trauma and guilt, it is important to learn to forgive and or in most cases come to terms with it. This is something I had to learn personally, as a few years ago, my closest friends at the time did something to me which made me spiral into a state where I would start hyperventilating and have intense anxiety and stress that will last the entire day, every day, for the months to come. And even afterwards, when everything was okay and back to a normal state, a part of me was still stuck in that time and place, and I even missed it for a bit. I would remember what they did and how I felt, and I would cry wondering why. It was my fault, wasn't it? I deserved what happened. It was my punishment, and that ate away at me. It made me feel guilty for why that happened to me, and I felt scared of people, and I felt hatred towards them. I wanted to leave them, as in my head, that is not a friend, and perhaps I should have then. But in the midst of my state of punishment, I came to a realization. It wasn't my fault. I know what it is. I know why I thought like that. But that's all over now. I don't need this anymore. They were still my friends. They knew what they did. They apologized. They didn't know how to make it up to me. And it was time to overcome my self-inflicted guilt and learn to forgive myself and those who have wronged me. That punishment, that's all over now. And now, I feel better than ever. I feel happier. I feel better. And due to some other personal reasons, I'm no longer friends with them. Probably for the best. However, I hope all is well for them. Silent Hill 2 perfectly embodies that feeling of guilt and learn to forgive those who have hurt you and or yourself. Thank you for watching this video. It's a little bit more personal but ties into Silent Hill and how it portrays guilt and forgiveness. Also note, I am not justifying what James did.